Hello, welcome back to the land of Kakiak. My name is Laurel and I educate my 3 boys at home using the Robinson curriculum as the base of our education. And today I'm going to show you my homemade addition and subtraction workbook. Hi, okay, so I showed you guys, I was putting together my division and multiplication workbooks. I'll link that one down below if you haven't seen it and you want to. But thought I would go ahead and show you how I put together an addition and subtraction workbook at home. So obviously I use my comb binder, but lots of people use, 3-ring binders and things like that as well, or like weekly packets or something. But I just use printables and things that that aren't consumable, right, for the most part, and that I can just reprint if I need to, from child to child. To me, that's the best value for my money over buying like pre-made workbooks. I'm going to show you, I use a mix of things, some I've made and some that I've gotten from other sources. So just as a side note, this cover sheet comes with just a plain kind of like labeling area. I have a couple of these just like for free in my TPT store. I'll link my TPT store down below for you. Just because sometimes you just need a cover for something or a label, or you know what I mean? And I just had a couple because I just had fun one day messing around in PowerPoint making making images. Anyway, so you can get a cover for anything and fill it in if you want to. Okay, so math. So addition and subtraction. So the first thing I have is this little packet I made called Spell My Numbers. I just made this because I was wanting, when William, my middle, when he was starting out, and I was wanting him to learn to read and write his number words. So this was something that we just worked on. And so there's a girl version too. If you have a little girl, there's a girl version of this. Just to practice print and cursive while learning to spell number words. And I kind of made a little number story that went along with it. So it just introduces them to, the figure 1, and then in print, and then you can trace. They can trace this and they can practice writing it. And then it says, one day I walked slowly by the river. And then the idea was that they would illustrate the story at the end, right? And this could be combined with, counting exercises that day or whatever else, you're doing. Anyways, then continues on. The story continues on in cursive for number 1. I had one book in my hand, Anyway, so that's something. This might even be one of my free resources in my TPT store. I can't remember. It's been so long ago that I made it. It's not that long ago, but it feels like, I feel like homeschool years, like one homeschool year is like 5 years. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so that is where I'm starting out. My workbook is, learning to read and write 1 through 10, and probably maybe working on introducing the abacus to them. So abacus, and I have my abacus flashcards, right? So I would start off with, numbers and place values. So this would be the first set. And so we would probably be working these with, while we're working on the stuff. So anyways, I'll link those for you down below too. But this is going to, help them, conceptualizing numbers, place value. I love the abacus, and they can do all 4 operations on it. I think the abacus is so cool. In fact, I did a whole series on how to use the abacus, which I'll link for you in the description box too. So we say we're working on place value and putting numbers on the abacus, right? So I'm assuming that by the time they get to this is like kind of like first grade-ish kind of stuff. Maybe kindergarten, a high kindergarten age. I guess it really depends on your kid when you're starting stuff. But I would have already covered, counting, some number sense kind of stuff, tally marks, practicing writing the figures and stuff like that. More and less, working on that. I'm trying to introduce more and less right now to my 4-year-old as far as numbers go. But anyway, so I wouldn't be starting completely cold with my addition and subtraction workbook is what I'm saying. Okay, so then we start talking about conceptualizing addition, right? So I just give some little visuals, some ways that you can conceptualize it with them, and same with subtraction. So then I have this little packet, numbers and figures, and this is something I made to use for the first 10 lessons of Ray's primary arithmetic. And I basically just wanted to turn those first few lessons into a workbook. So again, they're doing count the object, write the number word, and write the number figure, which at this point should be review for where my path is. But it goes all the way. Like, this is a lot of work, right? Really getting them familiar with the pattern of how we put together our number words. And then read each figure aloud to a teacher to check for accuracy, right? So this is something I could check off or star, and if they missed it, maybe circle it to know we need to work on that figure. Then it goes back into number words again. Right, and we could be practicing putting these numbers onto the abacus at the same time. You know what I mean? It'd be a good exercise to do. And then they get into the lessons. So I used arrows because it was just, I used arrows when we get into these lessons 7. They start actually doing some subtraction or addition, So I use arrows. So you start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is how many arrows have we here. They'd write in 5. And I did put some areas from scratch paper work here because when you're in Ray's, you have the book. There's not room to do anything in them because they, I think, are mostly done orally. But I just had these here so that I wanted to be able to work them out on paper so they could see it. But we could also still do things orally as well. Let's see. So we get through, this is the first 10 lessons of Ray's. Here's the last lesson. And then I say that they've mastered their numbers and figures, right? They get their little mastery certificate. And then I move into addition and subtraction. So this is something I made to be used in conjunction with flashcards. And so there's some methodology there, and I want them to see the facts and trace them. And I give you the methodology here. Here's just the key, right? So they could check it. And then this page is a fill-in page. I want them to be able to fill in what number. And there's the test, right? And then we move on to part 2, right? So back to trace. And anyway, so this is just working addition and subtraction back and forth. And, if they didn't pass the test, right? If there was something they missed, I stopped there and either go back and just, basically, repeat. You can reprint or just write over the top of it, whatever. Do these on the abacus, I don't care. My child, they can use the abacus as long as they need to on these things to figure it out. But I want them to have it, pretty much to remember it. We're trying to get them just to memorize the facts, right, on the test. So we're trying to get them just to remember. So I don't expect, a 6-year-old necessarily in 1 week or whatever to be able to memorize all these facts necessarily. We may need to repeat this until they do. Do you know what I mean? All right, so then, goes into the next group of facts, and we repeat the process. They have a test. on that. And then I do what makes the 10 fact families. I add that in there. So it's really helpful for them to know, I'm sure you've heard of part, whole, but if 10 is the whole, then, 0 and 10 make 10, 1 and 9, 2 and 8, these are the part, right? So I just have a little packet that works them through those bonded, numbers. And then they have a little test at the end, some little test pages, and hopefully that will help get that pattern in their mind where they just know instantly, like if they have, 82, that it's gonna be 8 more to bump you up to the next 10 group. You know what I mean? This is starting out with the small numbers, but 2, you need 8 more to get to 10. 6, you need 4 more. 3, you need 7 more. Do you know what I mean? We just want them to instantly, get that stuff. And we start playing Shut the Box around this time. And that's a really good game to play. I think I've showed it before, but I'll show it again. So Shut the Box looks like this. And so you actually, everybody whoever you're playing, you have up to 4 players. It's just a fun one just to do. You can do it in, during school time, but just after dinner or something, to have the family play. So you roll your dice, you get 3. So I get to do any 2 numbers that equal 3. Well, 1 and 2 is all there is. But what if I got, 8? There's multiple numbers I could make 8. I could do 6 and 2. I could also do 3 and 5, right? Or something like that. Anyways, the goal is to shut the box to get whoever gets all their numbers down first, if you haven't played before. But anyways, that's a good time to start playing this game when you're trying to get down this concept. Then I go back into the math facts, the addition, subtraction, and we're just moving along, right? And then you can see the numbers are getting bigger. We're doing addition and subtraction at the same time. And then when they get through that, they get let's say they pass their last test. And, I pull out the same flashcards, whatever math facts we're working on, I pull them out of the flashcards to work with during their flashcard time. So we always do, some workbook work, then flashcard work, and then a math game. That's just our routine. And so they get through that. A lot of times, it just takes a long time for kids to master. You might have to go through this more than once. The reason I wanted things in this kind of simplified form is because their reading comprehension isn't that great, in first grade or whatever. So I didn't want it to be overly complex with the problem solving. I just wanted them to memorize the math facts. That's the goal with RC. That's that's all they're really trying to do is get them to memorize those math facts, and then they can start 5-4. Of course, I do a little bit extra because I will start, as we're learning addition and subtraction, I'll teach them on the abacus, how they can do that. We'll start out with 1-digit addition, right? And then 2-digit addition, 3-digit addition, right? So they can start doing this and getting pretty good at that. 2-digit subtraction. Anyways, then I have also included in their workbook the Olney's A Primary Arithmetic book, the addition and subtraction. So then they go into addition. So this is very, very similar to Ray's arithmetic, but another RC mom, and I'll link her down below, has made it into a workbook format so that you could have something for them to write in, So, and I feel like this is easier to read and understand what they're asking than the Ray's arithmetic is. Just for, younger kids especially, So how many are 2 and 9? So it's nice that they have it in this written form here and also in the, more abstract numerical form. When it's something like this, it's not too long or complex. They just are really straightforward, and it's not a really wordy problem that they have to kind of decipher, the reading comprehension part and then try to do the math. I like this because then I can teach them how to, they read it and how to convert that into and what's this called? A number sentence, you know? You know, an addition table here. And this is nice, like 5 problems. It's nice to say this is 1 page, one day's worth, right, of, they're calling it seat exercises, right, what they're doing in their seat, sitting down, working on this. So these ones are a little bit more wordy. A boy has 3 apples and a girl gives him 5 more. How many has he then? I like there's lots of room here that they can draw it out if they need to, or write out the number sentence, just wherever they are. Okay, so this one starts out with addition, and then, yeah, it moves into subtraction. It's a separate, they've completely separated the two pretty much. But here they're showing you a fact family. That's cool. Anyway, so this is just, you know, kind of a different format. And if this is too heavy for your kid and they don't have their math facts memorized, like I would just go back and reprint this and just go through it again. I mean, most things are just a function of exposure. Just the more kids see the facts, work with the facts, play with the facts in games, you know, they commit them to memory. And then the last thing I have in their workbook is, so you remember the bonded numbers or the 10 groups? This is like the next step up from that. So it's 10 groups. It's not just 2 numbers that make 10. It's within 10 groups, right? So this is a resource I made to work on that concept. So this is just a little bit of a review about what makes 10, and then we're now going to start applying that to 10 groups. So like 0 to 10, right? 10 to 20, 50 to 60, and then here's some facts within that where they're going to use that knowledge. We want them just to quickly know like what those answers are going to be within a 10 group. Once they get all the way through that, they're at the end of the workbook. And this would take a while to get through. And I'm not worried. I mean, if I need to reprint something, you know, a few times, I'm okay with that. I do really like just the simple, like, using the tests, you know, the test pages as, I'm trying to find one. You know, or you go in and you check their work every day, and whatever ones they're missing, you know, that's the one we need to work on. We need to make sure that we are, we either do extra like copy work, you know, have them write it out, or, you know, have them see it on a number line. Just have them try to come up with different strategies for how they could remember that answer and just picture it in their mind. And like I said, I'm fine with them solving it, and I don't care how long it takes them to solve it or how many times they have to solve it, whether it's using their fingers or an abacus or a number line or drawing things or using manipulatives. Like, just eventually one day they solve that problem enough times, they'll just remember what it is. You know what I mean? So just let them keep working on it if they need to keep working on it. It's not a rush to the end, you know? Like, it just takes a while to commit these things to memory, and just be consistent, and they really do. I really, you know, think it's helpful. Dr. Robinson has us, recommends the 6 days a week and like the year-round school. I feel like some people think that sounds crazy, but to me, the proof has been in the pudding. Like, the kids are just doing so well, and they just know what to expect. It's just part of life, you know? We come into the schoolroom and we do our studies, and then we just go on with the day, and they don't have that summer backslide or even that like weekend backslide, you know. I would be doing the doing the raise arithmetic. Raise arithmetic, it starts out in addition and subtraction. It goes into multiplication. So this is going to span like first and second grade probably, you know. But I would use these as to do probably on the board with them, just do them together or orally, or use these. These are great to sit down with your manipulatives. And I'll show you my favorite one right now. Okay, my favorite ones right now are these. You get these like little gem things that are for, like, people put them in vases, or I don't know what else. I'm using these a lot with my preschooler right now, but these are perfect for like these type of, things. So Mary gave $3 for a dress, so, and $10 for a shawl. What did she give for both? Right, $3 for a dress, right? $10 for a shawl. And if they need to just, do those groupings, right, and like actually count them out and then figure out how many they have whole, then whatever works, and kids like working with these little gems and stuff. They just like them. They're pretty. Okay, so you could do, you could mix it up. Like you could do, to make these resources stretch, you could do a worksheet one day followed by your flashcards and your math game. Maybe the next day you do problems on the abacus, right? Followed by flashcards, same flashcards, right? You're doing the same ones every day to try to memorize them. Followed by a math game. The third day you do oral lessons, right? With manipulatives, or like maybe on the chalkboard or something. Then you do your flashcards and, a math game. Maybe we're playing Shut the Box, or, some kind of card game. Or I love all those no prep. I've shared them a million times. I'm always raving about them. But all those no prep math games. I'll link my favorite ones that I use in the description box too. I tend to just, not just do just worksheets, right? Like I want to work that mathematical thinking from as many angles, as I can, that is reasonable, it makes sense. And so anyways, I hope that's helpful to anybody that was needing ideas or just wanted to see like how you might put together your own, math book, or how I pick my resources and why. That's just kind of my thinking on it. Let me know if you have any questions, or if you have any favorite addition and subtraction resources. And other than that, I'll talk to you soon.